It came from the third dimension.
3D Newsbite.
I trained you. So the most dangerous people in the world couldn't kill you. Son, it's time for you to take your place by my side. You better watch out, 'cause it's my time. The power in this soul mine. That's not going to happen. It's a new era, your second.
Welcome to a 3D Newsbite podcast. I'm Adolf, and I have with me
Old Man Jake.
And today we're talking about a new Marvel Studios trailer, which came out of the blue. I had no idea this was coming out.
Yeah, and what a pleasant surprise this is.
So this is the first teaser trailer for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, right? Did I get that title wrong?
Oh, you got it right. Oh my god. MCU does Shaw Brothers. Oh my god, this looks incredible.
So this is September 3rd coming out, and one weird thing, which I'll get to in a second, that the trailer itself and the website and the poster don't mention 3D. So I decided to call out to our good friend from the podcast, Mr. Evan Jacobs, and he's the supervisor stereographer from Marvel, and I asked him on Twitter, quote, is this a 3D movie? Can you confirm that this is a 3D movie? And he said, of course.
Good. Of course, to be fair, the trailer also didn't mention the rating, which we know is pretty much guaranteed to be PG-13.
So, I think from this trailer, I was like, oh, hell yeah, this would look great in 3D.
Oh my god, and all the scenes with Tony Leung Chiu-wei as Wen Wei. Oh my god. When he, in the Mahjong parlor, when he smashes that table, and the fight, and the flashbacks where he has the fight in the bamboo grove. Oh my god. And then of course, the stuff with Simu when he's the bus, it reminded me of Speed.
So here's the official plot synopsis. Shang-Chi must confront his past through what left behind and draw into a web of mysterious Ten-Ring organization. The film stars Tony Leung as Wenwu, Awkwafina as Shang-Chi's friend Katie, and Michelle Yeoh as Zhang Nan, as well as more. I can't pronounce these. I'm sorry. So it's about him confronting his past, and this is a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. Now we have no idea. We had no indication where this takes place in the timeline, but I'm safe to assume that it's after.
I would say some of it. It's obviously there's distant past and recent past, and I'm going to assume Shang-Chi did not get blipped, and some of these scenes, him karaokeing, might be during the blip or just before, and I would not be surprised to find out that his father was blipped.
So yeah, that's what I'm getting at. This is after Endgame and after Spider-Man: Far From Home. So this is a contemporary movie, not a movie in the past.
Yeah, and there's scenes in Asia and there's scenes in San Francisco.
Now Shang-Chi, is that how to pronounce that correctly?
It's close enough for a Western. I'll try and see, because my Cantonese and Mandarin is awful. Shang-Chi, I think, is a little closer, but Shang-Chi's fine. Usually the G is kind of soft.
Okay, so this is based on the Marvel property that was first in Special Marvel Edition number 15 from 1973, Masters of Kung Fu.
Yeah, the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. Yeah, this was some of the first Marvel stuff I read, and I was reading it in the black and whites. I don't know if it had been republished in the black and white mags, or or whatever, but because I didn't see Marvel comics until I was a little older. I started out with DC, but I always loved this. Marvel did better kung fu stuff than DC did kung fu stuff.
So in this movie, he is trying to, I guess, make his dad proud and see what he's doing for the last 10 years, and you get to see some of the criminal elements and
Yeah, and you get to see his Shang-Chi in his garage apartment in San Francisco that he probably pays $2,000 a month to live in.
The fight choreography here looks like legitimate, awesome kung
Oh, and
fu.
it's great wire work.
This does not look like season 1 of Iron Fist.
Oh no! This has the vibes of old classic Shaw Brothers movies. The attention, the fighting. It just looks absolutely lovely.
And it definitely looks a lot of fun, and it has a good vibe to it. And I'm excited for this movie coming out in September. Obviously, release dates may change as the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic.
And hey, and if you can't wait, check out Tony Leung in The Grandmaster.
So the father is Fu Manchu, right?
In the comics, yeah, it was Fu Manchu. Was even, believe it or not, even more racist of a character than the comic book version of the Mandarin. So, the minute they announced this movie, I knew damn well they were going to ditch that. Because it didn't fly then, and it ain't going to fly now. I mean...
So, I think it has an all-Asian cast and supporting people. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, and pretty much. I mean... And they've got, if you've seen the set photos, they even built a whole, pavilion and stuff. I mean, this is like the Shaw Brothers used to have. They would build this city and then they just built this, and then they just redressed it for various movies. This kind of looks like a throwback to that. This wasn't stagecraft scenery. Looks like they've got they actually built sets and stuff. They look gorgeous, and they looked even more gorgeous in this, trailer.
So the director and writer is Destin Daniel Cretton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's not many major movies you may know him from. Short Term 12, I've never heard of that. Just Mercy, The Glass Castle, and
Just Mercy's really good.
So this is pretty. Yeah, just giving that out there. It definitely looks a lot of fun. I'm surprised that we saw this before Eternals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm stunned. I mean, they just dropped this. This came out of nowhere, and I loved it. And did you catch the energy on the band? I like the fact that they're making the rings bracelets instead of just rings, kind of to get away from the Infinity Stones. And did you notice that when he powers them up, does it kind of look kind of purplish like Agatha Harkness's power?
Yeah, it definitely had a nice look to it. And I was going to talk about the bracelets because that is something that's interesting because there is, obviously the not Mandalorian, but the is it Mandalorian? The one that Iron Man fights?
No, the Mandarin.
Mandarin.
He's another racist, a comic book character. I mean, not as racist as Fu Manchu, but still. That's why they gave him a whole brand new name, and they just kind of retconned it. He's been many people. I would bet money he was even Genghis Khan.
So he had a bunch of rings that gave him powers, and I like the bracelets more too, just because it changes it up. Because rings, just reminds me of Green Lantern and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Tony Leung is probably one of the few men in the world who could rock 10 bangle bracelets and still look like a badass.
And it's like a 10-ring organization. So
yeah, 10 rings is his shtick, his little group. Of course, I hope we see Slattery, the guy who was pretending to be him in Iron Man 3.
Are they related to the Hand?
They're probably rivals. I would not be surprised if some of the characters we saw in this trailer are the Hand, but not. They're not really. They're rivals in the comics, so.
Okay. I think for a small trailer, I think we covered basically everything here without going into like frame by frame, and I'm super excited for this. I'm not really super into kung fu. I mean, I'm not against it either. It's just not. But I'm into this. So
Yeah, and Aquafina kind of is rocking kind of the Darcy vibes.
yeah, it seems like she's a new hot thing, and being in every movie and everything.
Yeah, and oh man, and did you see those dragons and those Fu lions running around? Oh yeah, and that one guy, I think it was a Mandarin. It was hard to tell, running up those 5 shields and leaping off of them. I mean, there were some great action shots. I mean, I couldn't believe how much they actually showed us just in this sneak. So I'm like, God, what are they going to show us in a regular trailer? I mean, holy crap!
So he is still a human being. He just has the supreme. He's like, this is what the Marvel website says. Is the supreme commander of 5 weapon society and secret agent. So I don't know.
Maybe he's running Atlas. I mean,
it definitely feels different and fresh. So I'm welcoming it to the Marvel family.
yeah, and to see a big budget Shaw Brothers style martial arts movies. It's been I mean, there hasn't been a great Shaw Brothers. Well, they're pretty much kaput other than releasing home video now and having a TV station in Asia. But I mean, it was the 70s since they had a great movie. And looks like a throwback to those days.
Definitely looks great. I guess that's it for us. Bye.
Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D, Mr. Bengal 5, and Kevin Winter for your financial support on Patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.